He called Netanyahu fucking crazy. Now, he wants to meet the Iranian supreme leader, who he was briefed is probably gay and who hasn't been seen in public since the strikes that killed his father. Peace talks are sputtering. Hezbollah is the tripwire, and Trump says he's in no rush. Two wartime leaders are getting along quite well. Trump says he expects to meet Iran's supreme leader Mojtaba Khamenei as negotiations continue to end months of conflict between Iran, Israel, and the United States. Speaking to the New York Post, Trump said Washington's relations with Tehran's leadership were improving despite slow-moving talks and continuing tensions across the region. Mojtaba Khamenei has not appeared publicly since the opening stages of the war on February 28th, when US and Israeli strikes reportedly killed members of his family and injured him. Reports suggest the Iranian leader has remained secluded, with negotiations complicated by indirect communications and lengthy exchanges through intermediaries. Despite that, Trump indicated he believes progress is being made.
Mojtaba Khamenei is involved. Absolutely. I think they have a lot of respect for him. They say he is giving approval, because that's the way it has been for a long, long time. His father, and then him, I guess it's a succession. But we seem to be getting along quite well.
The American president also said he would welcome a face-to-face meeting with the Iranian leader, continuing a diplomatic style that has often favored direct engagement with foreign adversaries. Trump's comments mark a notable shift in tone after previous criticism of Khamenei. The president had earlier questioned his suitability to lead Iran and publicly mocked reports about his private life. The White House has not presented evidence supporting those claims, and they remain unverified. The US president has confirmed he wants to meet the man America has been at war with since February.
I'd like to meet him. I'd love to meet everybody. I would like to meet him, and we probably will meet at some point, depending on how it all works out. I haven't had the privilege of meeting him. If you believe the stories, he's missing a lot of different parts.
Trump was briefed by intelligence officials in March that Mojtaba was probably gay, with the president and other aides laughing aloud at the unconfirmed spy agency lead, which suggested he's had a long-term romantic relationship with a childhood tutor. In a podcast interview published on June 3rd, Trump confirmed to the New York Post that he called his closest Middle East ally, Benjamin Netanyahu, a profanity during a phone call earlier in the week, expressing frustration at Israel's continued strikes on Hezbollah in Lebanon.
I was a little bit perturbed at his constant fighting with Lebanon. We've worked very well together. I like Bibi a lot. I'm a wartime president. He's a wartime prime minister.
The outburst was not merely personal. Israel's attacks on Hezbollah have become a direct obstacle to the US-Iran peace process. Tehran has insisted that Israeli strikes on Lebanon must stop before any deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and dismantle Iran's nuclear program can be finalized. Iran briefly called off negotiations following a recent Israeli strike on Beirut. Trump said he was in no rush. The strait, carrying roughly a fifth of global oil and gas shipments, has been largely closed since the war began. Talks are continuing through Pakistani mediators in Doha. Trump reportedly lashed out at Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu during a phone call, calling him fucking crazy as he demanded that Israel agree to a ceasefire with Lebanon's Hezbollah. US officials were also quoted as saying that Trump told Netanyahu that he kept him out of prison, a reference to Trump's repeated public demand that President Isaac Herzog pardon the Prime Minister, who is in the midst of a lengthy corruption trial. Axios cited a US official summarizing Trump's message to Netanyahu.
You're fucking crazy. You'd be in prison if it weren't for me. I'm saving your ass. Everybody hates you now. Everybody hates Israel because of this.
A second source briefed on the call said Trump was pissed and at one point yelled at Netanyahu,
What the f*** are you doing?
While US officials tell the news site that Trump is aware that Hezbollah has been firing repeatedly at Israel and that Jerusalem has a right to respond, he believes that the IDF has responded disproportionately in recent days, risking Washington's efforts to secure a ceasefire extension with Iran, which is conditioning a deal on a truce in Lebanon. Another US official said Trump was concerned by the fact that Israel had killed so many civilians in Lebanon and objected to the Israelis knocking down buildings to take out a single Hezbollah commander. The US official told Axios that Trump steamrolled Netanyahu on the call, and Bibi said,
Okay. Just make sure everything is taken care of.
An Israeli official told Axios Israel no longer plans to strike Hezbollah targets in Beirut. Trump and Netanyahu have had several tense calls in the past, but have still coordinated closely on Iran and other issues. One official said this was one of Trump's worst calls with Netanyahu since he returned to office. Trump's anger appeared to be driven by the fact that Netanyahu's decision to escalate in Lebanon was threatening to implode his negotiations with Iran. After the call, Trump posted on Truth Social that the Iran talks were continuing at a rapid pace.
I had a conversation with Bibi Netanyahu today, asking him not to go into a major raid of Beirut, Lebanon. He turned his troops around. Thank you, Bibi. I also had a conversation with representatives of the leaders of Hezbollah, and they agreed to stop shooting at Israel and its soldiers. Likewise, Israel agreed to stop shooting at them. Let's see how long that lasts. Hopefully, it will be for eternity.
Netanyahu released a statement after the call, saying he'd told Trump that Israel would attack targets in Beirut if Hezbollah did not stop attacking Israel, and that in the meantime, Israel would continue its operations in southern Lebanon.
Tonight, I spoke with President Trump and told him that if Hezbollah does not cease attacking our cities and citizens, Israel will attack terror targets in Beirut. This stance of ours remains unchanged. In parallel, the IDF will continue to operate as planned in southern Lebanon.
Meanwhile, Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf has described the bond between Iran and Lebanon as unbreakable, stressing that any ceasefire agreement between Tehran and Washington must include a halt to Israeli attacks on all fronts, particularly Lebanon. In a phone conversation with Lebanese Parliament Speaker Nabi Berri, Ghalibaf said that our lives are one, and the bond between Iran and Lebanon is unbreakable. Ghalibaf praised Hezbollah and the Amal movement for defending both their homeland and the Islamic Ummah. Ghalibaf, who also heads Iran's negotiating team, made clear that if a deal to end the war between Iran and the United States is reached, it will include the cessation of hostilities on all fronts, with special emphasis on Lebanon.